the enterprise and entrepreneurship. We try to define it. And then the actor, and then the enterprise. And I gave you information on some of these things that entrepreneurs that I chance online. And then some characteristics of entrepreneurship. We went through that. Please just have it, it's not like you are chewing and pouring, but get to understand some of these things, some of these traits that are there, so that easily when you're asked, you can bring some of them out. And then some qualities that as an entrepreneur you need to possess so that you'll be able to situate yourself well within your workspace. Then no, I think this one was basically a continuation of this one. The rules of entrepreneur and how important it was. Then we discussed this one, whether they are made or born, and then we accepted the link between they can be made, they can be born. Some benefits or some advantages and disadvantages of entrepreneurship, the pros and the cons of entrepreneurship. We looked at that. And then we looked at venture creation. So we got to here, how entrepreneurship came about and how students need to also make themselves ready to be entrepreneurial. All these things have been tackled. So we got to this point. So let's set the ball rolling. So we finish this one and then we can do something else if time permits. So how would you differentiate between traditional entrepreneurship and student entrepreneurship? I just need one or two people to incite us in a sense. That's the last thing we tackled. And I mentioned that entrepreneurship course, it's interactive. You don't expect only the facilitator to be doing the talking. You also have to contribute to expertise and experiences. I know most of you are working. So if I pose the question, how would you differentiate between traditional entrepreneurship and student entrepreneurship? I need 2 answers and then we'll go. Yes, we are 52 here, so please. Who is setting the ball rolling for us? How would you differentiate between traditional entrepreneurship and student entrepreneurship? This one. Please use the icon and raise your hand and then let's start the discussion. Yes. Hello. I can't see any hand up. Hello. Hey. Mr. J, Andy, Innocent, you are all here. Why are you not speaking? Please hurry up. And I'll take note of all those who are also coming up with contribution so that we know those who are active and those who are not active. Yes. Hey, course rep. Course rep.
Hello, madam. Doc.
Why? You don't have any idea. And your people are also not forthcoming. What's the problem? How would you differentiate between traditional entrepreneurship and student entrepreneurship from your perspective? Or if it's broad, how would you explain? Who is a traditional entrepreneur? This one. Who is a traditional entrepreneur? Let me end here. Who is a traditional entrepreneur? Yes. Hello.
Doc, I'm coming. I'm in a noisy place, so I wanted to position myself and then talk.
All those who are not speaking, I'm marking them absent. Let me get my so that.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Madam, I can try.
Oh, try. Raise your hand when you don't you know how to use the icons. If you want to speak, you raise your hand, or you don't see it.
Okay, yes, madam.
So that I see you.
So, can I continue?
Please continue, please.
Okay, so traditional entrepreneurship you can say it's a person, like maybe in a simple words,
Shadrach.
a person finishes school, start a business, and run it at their full-time career. Then when you talk about student entrepreneurship, a student start a business while still in school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the, yes,
Can you
yes,
repeat
man.
that
That's
twice?
what I can say.
Shadrach, please. Before we come to Andrews, Shadrach, can you repeat what you said again?
I'm saying traditional entrepreneurship is like a person who finishes school, start a business, and run it at their full-time career.
Mm.
Then student entrepreneurship, yeah, it's a student who start a business while still in school.
Okay. Andrews, thank you, Shadrach. Oh, was that not the name Shadrach? Yes. Andrews, before David, and then we'll continue.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Andrews. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please, so mine, I will give just examples of
No
both
problem.
the traditional and the district.
No
So
problem.
let's say a man that starts a transport company just to support his family. I think that one is a traditional entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say a student that sells snacks, let's say on campus.
Mm-hmm.
That one too is a distinct student entrepreneurship.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Andrews. We'll take two more and we'll continue. The next point, we'll just get other contributors. David,
Yeah,
let's hear you.
no, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I would say that traditional entrepreneur is a person who runs a business with the main livelihood, with full personal risks and then commitment. Whilst the student entrepreneurship is someone who runs a business within an academic environment, using both the learning aspect and then the income aspect.
Both the last bit didn't come well. David,
Please come again.
the last bit, we didn't hear you.
So I said the student one is someone who runs a business within academic environment, using both learning tools or a source of income.
Okay. I see. All right. So much said, please, we'll get to other questions. So when we get there, I'll call on you again. When we talk of the two, realize that one has an idea that this is the way it has to be, starting your own small business to be able to help the family, help yourself, or help, in terms of your work or what you are doing. And a student entrepreneur is somebody in school who tries to be entrepreneur by adding up the ideas that he has already he has gained, and then some of the information that I received externally. Now, generally, entrepreneurship education is now on the rise. Well, because research has come to make us understand that much as we are human beings, we are creative, we can be situated to do our own thing, and again, to much as we find ourselves even working with a white collar job, the creative aspect mostly propels us to do certain things on our own, trying to come up with something small. Formerly they termed as some small business. Yes. But now the way population is rising, looking at how external, let's say, within the country and even outside, you realize that new ways of doing things abound. So you can't really confine yourself to one place and say, this is what I do, and that ends it. Every day, every time, new things come up. So much as we are training the students are also now being moved to try certain things on their own. And that will help also feed into the bigger entities. A lot of research has been done in the European world. Even starting from 2008, they started seeing the essence of having entrepreneurial education as a way of people coming to be creative, to introduce new ways of doing things, to invent so that at the end of the day, if they're able to stick to the idea and grow it, they can now commercialize it, and it becomes a source of income for them, their families, and people. They get to also absorb people who are also not working. That is what we mean. So that is the essence of entrepreneurial education. So we need that as a foundation, as a country, to be able to situate ourselves well based on the information or the theory aspect that we are receiving as students. Then again, formally, when you finish school, what happens is that you're already prepared. There's an IT company that is ready to have absorbed you. Now you realize that a whole fleet of people are, vying for the same role to play. So what happens? You get there and then you are not onboarded. But that aside, to looking at the income that even comes out. Now the generation that we are churning, I realize that everything has to do with the economy and how to grow. And then when you realize that you can be active in your specialty, and then you go and you are put by a table, and then you are not even given the opportunity to experiment or try on the things that you have. That is what becomes a shortfall, and people are turned around and now they say that, no, we have to come out to be able to rise up and do something on our own. So in terms of knowing and doing that, and the realization came that, no, the entrepreneurship education is key, and then we need to push that agenda. Do you get it? So there are some students who even finish school. They try to come up to work, being entrepreneur on their own, based on the foundations and some of the models that they have been open up to. And then again, maybe later in the years, that is when they find themselves joining, the work stream. And when they get there, they do so better because now they have the hands-on training already. That is how it is. Some people may want to, follow the white collar job. Some people may want to do it on their own. So with that, we need to be able to open students up so that students will start early. I quite recall when we were in the university at that time, realized that some people had the knowledge of entrepreneur. That time, the word entrepreneur was not in it was a word in the dictionary, but not a word in the society. No one spoke about it. All we know is that you are doing your own thing, like self-employed, coming out to do certain things on your own. And interestingly, most of our colleagues who chose that path, they were able to come up to be able to set up enterprises, set up, businesses, come up with that ideas, and now they are pushing, and then, there are big men and women out there. But then, because it was not thought back then, and then some of us even saw that, how can you be in the university and be, coming out to do certain things on your own and trade to get money? We didn't understand. So we could say that let's say we're looking at the university as a whole, have 100% of the people, you could get about only 5%, doing certain those things. And those people, when we finished school and were struggling to get to the mainstream of the institutions, they were already set up. Do you get it? That's how come when we got to say entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs born or made, that is what it is. Because back then, if you had added that knowledge, I'm sure they would have, excelled so well, but it wasn't there. So now that education has made that aware, and countries and the nationals are now accepting that we really need that aspect to be able to grow our young leaders. Then we are churning that part. So we need to make sure that we situate students well so that they can start growing, things on their own, and then, get out there doing well. As IT people, some are already doing stuff in IT. If I could ask, I'm sure I'll get majority of you or most of you saying you are doing something, exceptional in the IT area. Some are even doing programming for people. Some are, web designers. Some are programming, a whole lot of things. I know you are doing something small, and unknowingly, if you keep your eye to doing that well, you are sure to, excel. Some are even doing networking. Yes, that's it. Programs come and then they are there, taking care of those things. That is what we mean by being a student entrepreneur. It gets you gain money through that to be able to take care of some little needs that you may have, and also you build on, being sharper in terms of your idea. Okay, so that's enough. Let's move here. So understanding what entrepreneurship is, at least at this level, we know that it can be taught. So we are told here that it's a discipline, and much as it's discipline, you may have advantages and disadvantages. We have looked at this, but we are told here that there are opportunities within everybody. Unless you try, you never know. But then there are instances where you may have some interest, you may have a passion, but you need to work at it. So opportunities to discover new ways of doing things, and then better ways of also improving services and products that abound. Yes, so that's entrepreneurship. So as a student, if you want to put your eye to that, much as you may be working, doing things on you, we want to situate you well, so that at least when you step out there, much as you have other entrepreneurs, you would be able to stand tall amongst them. So you have to be able to put your head and eye to this discipline that we are opening you up with, so that at the end of the day, you can fit. Understanding entrepreneurship, it's a process and also a mindset. So much as I said, you have, that the ability to create, we need to be able to pursue. I said you have to push for to pursue. Know your situation, know the ideas that you have, and then know what you can do. A way of making money, a mindset. You have to put your eyes and your ears and every part of your body to it, and then you'll be able to set the ball rolling. That's how come we look at certain traits. So when you look at the traits, you yourself can check what percentage of the traits you as an individual you behold, and how it can help you to grow. Okay. It's also seeking opportunities, taking risk beyond what you may think, and then having the zeal to push on. That is what we mean. Entrepreneurship, as you make your mind, then you decide that I have to look out for opportunities. That's how come there are so many avenues that you can look out for, ideas. It may be based on a course that you like so much. You put your eyes to it. You are passionate about the course. You are always reading. That is when you are forced to read and know which opportunities are in those domains, and you pursue it. Some may decide to go to the library to research and textbooks, etc. People's project works, and then they can really even recommend to you now the areas that you can look out for in terms of that speciality. If it has to do with networking, if it has to do with programming, if it has to do with communication, if it has to do with marketing, you get the idea and then you work through to it. Then again, the zeal or the flair to be able to propel that agenda. Because much as the idea comes, you don't just nurture it for some few weeks and throw it away. It has to be something that you continuously pursue, so that you be able to understand what goes into it, what risk that you can take. Because entrepreneuring is taking some level or some amount of risk. It is not all the time that you can get it right. Yes. So as an entrepreneur, you have to know that there are certain times that you may not get it right, but then you should have a plan B. Know that if it doesn't go well in this perspective, I can look at in this perspective to get it right. Yes, so you need to be able to nurture some level of risk to be able to get it done. Just as you are a student and you say that, fine, I'll need to come up with, let's say, some aspect of preparation of food, because you are realizing that when you come to the campus, there are times that you don't get food to buy. So you want to come out to work out something like, some food hub, etc., privately, not on the campus, but in your school, because you're a non-resident. And then you come out to know that, fine, these are the types of foods that I like. I want to prepare for the people, because I've realized that this is the interest of the people that are, enjoying it. And then you do it, and once it gets to a point that you realize that maybe the jollof that you came up with is not that nice, something went wrong, and the people have complained. It doesn't mean that you can't do it again. So you know that you have taken the risk, you have done this one, it didn't succeed. So now what you have to do? You have to rework, know how best to do it. If they even have a formula or how best you can do it, you have to go back, relearn, and then bounce back. That is entrepreneurial. Either than that, when there is a fail and you fall out, then you can't be an entrepreneur. You have to make room for some amount or some level of risk so that you can, get yourself sustained. I was talking about this already. Yes. This test help us to be able to know how level or the level at which we are entrepreneurial. When you look at this one, when you go online, we can get to, please, I hope you can see. I'm not able to change the color. Hello? Hello?
Yes, please.
Hello,
You can
madam.
see.
Hello there.
This one, I had another
Hello.
one that was what I was
Hello.
searching for and I delayed. I wanted us all to try entrepreneurship tendency. When you try it, maybe we'll talk about it the next time. When you go online, you can type this in it. There are several tests. There may be differences, but it tells you your level of how you can be entrepreneurial. Because basically, they have certain questions that they have asked. They ask you, and then per your responses and the feedback, they rate you how entrepreneurial you can be. Every individual. So I would ask that when you get back, please try your hands on this one and then let's go. I want us to walk through these slides, and then if there is time, we can do it. If there is no time, we'll look at it the next time after you have done it. So when you talk of entrepreneurial tendencies, it means that your ability, you the individual, your ability to be able to manage your own thing, if you have set up something, an idea that you want to work on to grow it, your ability to make sure that you work around to retain that idea. And some of the things that you find or some of the words that you come across performing those tests are how enterprising you are, your level of achievement. They rate it and give you percentages with that, your level of autonomy, how creative you are, and your level to take risk. All those are some of the questions that are there. So they pose those questions, and when you are done, they give you a result, and this is like a template of the result that you have. So for instance, they can say that for you to be enterprising, they can give you, let's say, 50%, level of achievement 60, like that. And at the end of the day, they give you the real picture of you. But the test has to be taken once. The moment you go the second time, you have known the questions, and then you are not coming out to be real. When you sit at it, anything that comes to mind, the moment you flash the question, you type it out. That is when you get a true picture of who you are. So that if the percentage is not so encouraging, then it means that you have to work at it. So I think this one, you take it and then you do it, and then next meeting you give us the results of what you got today. Let's look at some traits of successful entrepreneur. When we talk of traits, there are things that are within, they differ from individual to individual. They are parts of you, and it's biological. So you can't say that I have this, I'm in this class and I possess this traits as against the other. The person has no. It's something that is biological. It comes out from the various individuals, and such traits are also picked. So when you know that genetically these are the traits that you have and they are not good, what you do is that you try to work hard at it to improve it. It's a bad trait. If it's a good trait, perfect, you polish it. But if it's a bad trait, you need to work around it and then make sure that you improve. For instance, some people may have the trait of being slow. Naturally, that is how those people within families, they behave. They are slow at doing things. And you know that maybe that trait is not auguring well for you in terms of your workspace. Then it means that you have to work hard at it. Try as much as possible to be able to work to improve it. And then some people are also naturally fast at things. Although it may be good, there are times it's not so helpful. So you also have to learn to be able to unlearn some of the ways that you do certain things, so that you'll be able to slow down a little, so that you can perceive certain things that you are not seeing because you are working so fast. So these are traits and then that comes out for every entrepreneur to be successful. And some of these are being entrepreneurial. You think about the passion, somebody who is determined and trustworthy, and then has the knowledge, because as an entrepreneur, every day you have to be learning. It's like a research thing, because you do certain things, you get it wrong. The next time you have to relook at how you did it, and then you come out right. So these are the some of the key traits that you have to possess as an entrepreneur. If you don't have the passion for what you are doing, you can't do it and get it finished. Please, if you are not talking, mute your mic. If you don't have the passion, sorry, to do what you are doing, you can't be able to do it and finish. You also have to look at how your level of wishing to succeed. You have to make sure that you're able to propel yourself, push yourself such that you'll be able to come up to attain what you said to do, and then also be able to tend to understand certain people, the way they behave, and then you'll be able to adjust when you are dealing with them. These are some of the traits that we have to look at. We also have to make sure that much as you have the zeal or the traits of being entrepreneurial, you have to make sure that any idea that comes that you want to work on, you nurture it to get it out to become, a business or something small for you. You don't just have the idea, write it on paper, and then push it under a table. It doesn't work like that. For you to be entrepreneurial, let's see what you can do. It could be a service that you are going to render, but you put it down, write it, and let's see. Put action into it, and then let it come out so that critique it. And at the end of the critiquing, if you're able to polish it out, it comes out as an opportunity for you. That's what entrepreneur is. So these are some of the traits that you have to also possess. You need to be innovative and creative. Some people are naturally not creative. Why would we say that? Do we have people who are naturally not creative? I need an example. Anyone to share with us an experience? Some people who are naturally not creative. Any example? Two of you, yeah? Hello? Please raise your hand. Do we have an example to portray someone who is not creative? Naturally, they are not creative. You can even give us an example to explain that point. We are 70 here, so please, let me get the answer and then move on. Yeah. Aaron, Miss Arthur.
Oh, good evening. So,
Evening.
when we say we have people that they are not creative, with my point of view, I'll say yes, we have people like that. Based on there are people that they do not want to take any risk at all. They always want to watch people do it before they try the same thing that other people did, and it worked for them. So these people, I don't see them to be creative. They just don't want to use whatever that comes into their heads. That's all.
Thank you, Aaron. Mr. Kabute.
Hi, madam.
Mhm.
Yes, so I will take in a different direction that there's nothing like naturally not being creative. Rather, it depends on specific areas. Perhaps somebody, it's all have to do with talent, and every man was born with a certain talent. So
Okay.
perhaps you can be in a church where you will not be able to have any creativity in terms of playing drums or singing. But in that same church, you can have a talent of being somebody who can give sermon perfectly. When it comes to IT, perhaps you might not be able to be creative when you are in the network environment, but you, that same person, can be creative when you are in the software development environment. So it is something that varies. Depends on where you find yourself and what your talent suits. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kabute. Yes, David. After David, Dennis. Yes, David.
Yeah. No, so I will also say that everyone is creativity, but the difference is that someone who is willingness and then getting the opportunity to express it is creativity. That's what I want to
Okay.
say. The willingness, yeah.
Okay. David, yes, thank you. Yes. Dennis, and then we'll continue. Dennis, let's hear you. Dennis. Dennis, your hand is up.
Yes, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. So I would say that there are some people who are not creative, and those people are the people who needs to be told something to do. So those people, when you tell them to do one or two things, that is what they do. They can do it without mistake, and they'll continuously do it anytime you call them.
Okay.
But creating something by
Okay.
themselves is difficult. So that is what I can say.
It dies.
Is this your first time doing entrepreneurship?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to do with the network. Sorry. Yes. So someone was making a submission. Yes. Is it Andrews? I was saying something, right? Okay. I said that when everyone is born creative, it's just like having a baby plant and you don't nurture it well. If you don't water, you don't take care of it and take the weeds around and make sure that it has enough sunlight, eventually it will die. So it is with human beings. Much as everyone is born onto this earth as creative, if we allow the easiness and the way I think initially I mentioned that because we are open up to so many things being done for us by the Western peoples or the brothers from the Western world, we try to relent on our creativeness. Now we want to waken up those tendencies in us so that we can also stand tall and do certain things on their own. Before some of these sophisticated things came into being, we from this part of the world were doing our own thing, trying to make up to do certain things on our own. But then what happened? We relented and then allowed them to feed us with their creative things, and all we know is that we just buy. We just go to them, we buy and we trade and we buy. So all those ideas, ways of doing things, everything vanished. Now we want to awaken it because we have seen that the way the world is going, we also need to step up and do things on our own so that we can, also stand tall. So just as I mentioned that you have a plant and you don't nurture it. So as human beings and as individuals, once you have those abilities in you, what you need to do is that you need to nurture it by trying to acquire more knowledge, learning to do certain things on your own, and coming up with various things, various ideas around the environment, aside reading, getting the information, we need to try our hands on it, because the journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. You step forward and then you do. So when the idea comes to you, all you know is, or you need to do is that put the idea down and then make sure you note it and how you think, or how abstract it is, to try to see it coming up into real. Because creativity is seeing things in abstract, or perceiving something that you want to do in an abstract way and coming out to let us have it, physically being done. And before it can be done, you need to note it down and work around it, get to connect the dots very well so that it can come out to be something substantial. And in the field of IT now, we see that so many things come up every day. Every day there's a new tech thing that is coming. Yes. And there are so many courses or programs that you are doing. So it depends on which area that you are so interested in. It could even be not within your domain, but a different domain. It doesn't matter. Nurture the idea and see how you can even connect with your IT to help let that idea boom. So that is what we mean. So entrepreneurship is about, much as having the traits, you also need to see things around you, within your community, within your space, through research, and then you take advantage of them. That is what we mean. Any questions? When you have any questions, so you can note it so that when I need to explain it, I'll explain it. Yes. So we have rules of creating a venture. Golden rules. Know thy customer. Means that before or after you have had the idea and how you want to work around it to grow it, know thy customer means you need to have a target group, a target market. So the idea or the thing that you are doing, which people is it going to serve? Is it going to serve children? Is it going to serve teens? Is it going to serve the university students? Is it for adults? Is it for elderly? Is it for the people within a particular workspace? So you have to know the customer and how you can get to them based on what you have come out with. And by chance you have a target group in mind, you need to, I always say that after you have come up with that idea, in your field, you say you have to have prototypes. You can have, a pilot study of that prototypes of that service that you want to do, and then let people try it or test it. And then based on the outcome, it would inform you that find your target market or your target customer is the right, or maybe you are targeting the boy or the male child, and then you realize that rather should have been the female, or both. So it depends on who your target is, and then you know the outcome of what is going to happen. And then you have to also know yourself. Know what you're looking out for, how you go about your production, the quality, how you want the outcome has to be, in terms of even sending it out, whether there are other products that are similar to what you are doing. If there are, how are you going to even enter the market? Enter the market means how are you going to trade that particular product so that people will like or dislike it. So you have to make sure that you know who you are, your level, your strength, what you can do and what you can do. If there is a need for you to also co-opt people, knowing yourself, know that this is a person I can easily work with, then you can co-opt the person to be able to help you in that perspective. Because already maybe you're an IT person, you are not so good a marketer. So if you have to deploy a friend, because starting an entity at a young age or as a student, you may not be able to go have the funds to go and hire, let's say a certified marketer, etc. But then you yourself will know that fine, I can get a colleague who is also into marketing, who is into this one, to also partner, and then we can work it out and come out with something good. That is what I mean. Okay, this one, you also know what motivates you, the creative tendency. That's why I said we are going to do that creative tendency skill test, and then knowing amount of risk that you can take. Some people are not able to take some levels of risk when it gets to the die end. So you have to be able to test yourself and know this is how far I can be stretched, and then you know how to work around it. When you talk about calculating the risk may be that maybe there is a lot of funds that needing to be able to come out with some levels or some quantities of what you have. But then you need to know that if you don't have those funds, when it comes, what happens? How are you going to rally around it? That is what happens. So you need to come up with a strategy that will help. I had a student that I invited. I had a small seminar talk on entrepreneurship, and then that student is from GCTU, and he was part. I intentionally invited him because I wanted the students to know that they can students to be able to relate and know that they can also do it. He was my student, and then he's good. So I knew that he was doing certain things on his own. He was a business student. Now he's set up his own thing, and then he's working on. And what he told the garden was that when he had this thing, he started very young age, at the age of, I think, 12, 8 or 12. And then he was doing his own stuff until he came to the university. He has done so many things. And then he started from his mother's kitchen or wardrobe. Or so he had his his mother gave him some wardrobe as a place of storage of what he was doing. So he realized that for him to be known, he came up, and then each time he's going to meet someone, he had, a product and gave it out as a gift. That was what he was doing. So people saw it and saw the sticker and was like, where did you get this from? Is it from China? Is it from, said, no, I make them myself. So he's into branded. So now through that, people, got attracted to him, and then eventually he's doing so well. That is how it is. He realized that he liked drawing small things, trying to write at the back of the book, on the phone, etc. He says, why don't I just push this agenda around? So he read around it and realized that it can be substantial. He tried it and it worked for him, and this is what he's doing since. So there are so many things that we can do with ourselves. The ideas are there. When you go online, I always say, when you pick the phone and you go online to some of these sites that you say, the online social media services, these days you have TikTok trending. Please watch things, ideas that can push you to be able to come to do certain things on your own. Now, a lot of informations are coming out there because of these technology thing. Yet they have so many do-it-yourself things that you're DIY. That's how they call it. That's how the guys, the young ones, call it. And people are working around it to be able to come out to build, a lot of bridges there. So please try and then check yourself in that perspective and get our ideas coming out from that. So in trying to create a venture, we have to look at 4 major perspectives: the individuals, the organization, that is if you have any, the environment, and then how you can start it. So when it gets to you as an individual, you look at yourself and then what you intend to do to come out to be an enterprise for you. And then the kind of enterprise that you are going to come out with. Note that much as you come up to put a team or group together, you need to have to register. That is first something we don't know. Some of these things I'm telling you are practical yet. So you need to come up to set that particular enterprise, know the requirements, and then try to get it sorted out. And then you have to also envisage the environment within which you are going to operate, because you have a target market, a target customer. So you should be able to get to that target customer to you. For instance, let's say you are coming up with a product that will be well situated for persons who are in the secondary schools, and within the locality you don't have any SHS around. How are you going to trade it? You get it? It's going to be sort of a struggle. So make sure that if you have that target, then it means that aside coming up with the idea, you are going to have positioned yourself close to those environments that have some classes of some of these schools, so that they can be able to identify that particular product or service and then patronize in it. Yes, it doesn't mean that when the idea comes and you don't have, close markets, you can do that. You can. But then as much as possible, make sure that where you are having the idea, where you are situating yourself, it is close to the customer, so that you know that you get the patronage. And then you have to also know that there are actions or what you have to decide on before you can be able to set out to say this is a venture. Looking at these days, what is happening when it has to do with race, when it has to do with the environment, etc. All these are factors. Environmental factors, internal for everything, so many. The natural factors come, and then there is nothing you can do about it. We can also have political factors, etc., also setting in. So there are things that you have to take into consideration as the person who is setting up that particular enterprise, so that you'll be able to succeed at the end of the day. Because you may be students and you are starting. I know most of you are, well, placed. You can do it, but entrepreneurship is about starting small and then growing that particular entity. Once you start and then you build up and people show interest, then they are good to go and then they trust what you are bringing out. Let me check here. Let me read this one. It said, venture creation is not a technical subject by which is hooked to formula, but rather a mindset subject. So that is what you have to get in mind. Much as you have the idea and you want to venture into doing what you have to do, it is not about following 2 scoops of rice, 1 level of sugar, 2 scoops of milk. No, it doesn't work like that. There are so many ways in killing the cat. Some people can say that, oh, you can use a knife to cut the head. Some will say you can place it in a sack and hit it. Some will say, oh, you can, get a trap and then get it. All these are getting, to get it right. So it is not a rocket science thing. There are ways that you can work around to get it done. So identified it, we are told here also that it's a lifestyle. You need to possess that lifestyle to be able to get yourself right. The reason why things are this way now is that I see that we are so hooked up and we are so glued to already made ideas that we don't want to do anything. But then we need to be able to come up so that we be able to help ourselves, help our community, and then the society at large. Because when you look at the venture creating, it's not only for the individual. You are able to also create jobs for people who are not part of what you are doing, people externally. It could be friends, it could be other people that you engage in to help. It also will be able to help you to get money to do so many things that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to do. It also takes you off from getting so fixed to monthly incomes. It also helps you to get so many opportunities that hitherto you wouldn't have gotten. These are some of the things that happens when you're able to come out to create a venture and then, work at it. It has so many advantages. It says it's able to, as a country, you're able to help increase the GDP, improves the standard of living of whoever is into it. Because once you have additional income, you're able to do things that otherwise you were not able to do. If you are into production, you're able to help the country and then promote its, exports. You are able to come out to create wealth and then free the government from concentrating on only its resources. So there are so many advantages when you try to come out with your own venture. Yes, and in no time you rise up and then stand tall. The only challenge I have is that some people look at other means of getting richer. That is not the focus. Entrepreneurship is about doing it quick and then getting it there. It's about nurturing the idea, growing it, and then people will identify you and patronize it. Yes, if you have placed yourself well, if you have marketed yourself well, you realize that you'll be well seen or known by the society within which you find yourself. Just as someone will say, when you have a bottle of water and you send it to the airport, the price is different. You send it to, let's say, areas that have middle class people living in there, like the Dansuman catchment, you can have a price for it. You send it to a place like which place is that? When you are walking on the streets of some places in Kaswa, etc., you can also get a price for that, for the same product that you are holding. So it depends on you, the individual, and how you have positioned or placed yourself. That will tell how people will rate you. So make sure that whilst you are thinking entrepreneurial, you are also thinking of positioning yourself well within the workspace, within the community, and then what product or service that you are coming out with, so that people would, get it out there. Yes. There is this person, a gentleman I met. He was into production of, he has these upholstery. He sews the curtains and then that's it. I think initially he says he was what? He was doing some particular work and then he stopped. It was a government administrative staff within an office. So he said, anytime he's there, naturally, he says that when he was young, he was into this. So he loves to sew. So he was doing it, but he says that he realized that his focus was into upholstery, sewing of curtains, fixing it, making it, not for the small, big places. You just take the order and do. So once he was positioned at the table, he couldn't survive. He says, no, there's so many times he sits by the table after he's done whatever work he's supposed to have been done. And then he sees himself drawing, come out with designs in terms of exercise. No, then I can't survive. So he got out there and then started that one. Whilst he was into it, so he got his machines, he has his own shop he's operating in, and he has his customers. He realized that he had a flair of, he bought a plantain chips. Yes, he said he bought a plantain chips from those on the streets, the vendors. And he realized that, it didn't taste nice. And also the packaging, he examined everything, tried to assess the way they have done it. So he placed it aside and he says, okay, then he was going to try, know how to do it and see whether he can do it, package it, and then etc. So he learns it. He says he went on YouTube, he learns it. And then that's what he told me. And then he also asked those who were into doing that, and he realized that he was on track. So he did this, and then he got, a packaging, he packaged it, and kept it for some time. And then after keeping some for some time, he also gave some to friends to test, to see how it, it was like. Then eventually the feedback that came was so positive that he says, okay, now he's going to, stretch it and see. So he did it. The keeping it was testing to know how long it was going to last, because he was not going to put preservatives in it, because the moment you add preservatives, it becomes a little artificial, and then etc. So he did it, and then he has the number of days that it has to be sold out, and then how he says best before, like he has everything. He registered the company, etc. And now he's doing so well. I met him, at a program, and then he gave me a sample. So when I came, I said, so how did you do it? I was, examining him and interviewing him, and then he told me he does it so nicely. He has branded it and he has put it in a box. That is the extent he has gone. And then he says that he doesn't, make it and put on a shelf. He just picks it in order form. So now people have, intentionally, when he gets visitors from outside, coming from, outside, he just dash them some, a sample. Oh, that's that. And then he started from the chair, he dash it to you. Oh, this is to welcome you. About 3. You go and said, oh, make some for me. Let me. So now he takes orders and do. So that is it. There are times that, the orders are so much that he's not able to, supply. That is what is happening. So now he's thinking of opening up and getting other hands to come on board to also help do that. So these are some of the things. That is not the main job. His main job is doing, so I asked, so how are you able to combine? He says, oh, everything he does is by order. So when he has this order, because he's sewing, he's able to do it throughout the night. But then with the plantain, he has to do it, make sure it cools down, he packages it. He has to be there to make sure that it's a good thing that he's doing, so that people will patronize it. So that is how it is. Do you get it? You may be in a, doing something, and then you identify a situation, and then that's it. Somebody may have bought, after buying, he says, oh, it's not nice. Oh, he just throws it away, and that's it. But he went further to see it as an opportunity to also get into that trade, and that is it. So these days that they were saying that you have these mothers are applying rubber, etc., it didn't affect him, because he would show you easily how he does it. Because I wanted to be sure. Some of us, we always want to be sure. So I visited and I got to know how he did it, and that is how it is. So it depends on how you package yourself, how you brand yourself, seeing opportunities and not challenges or problems within a society, and then you build on it, and then it will be your own idea. So that will be for, let's move on. So we are saying that much as you are entrepreneur, you have to make sure that at all the time you practice what you want to do. Yes. Because as human beings, there are instances where God has given us some innate stuff that it comes out, there's a zeal to do certain things. Don't relent. Try your hands on it. If the ideas come, write it. I said that great ideas come when you are alone. You have just emptied yourself, certain, a little idle, and then trying to think through to see what is happening within a society and realize the ideas come. So anytime you have a quiet moment with yourself, not praying, you can be praying fine, and then ideas may come, but maybe you just want to, sit small and do something. Make sure you have a notebook and a pen by you. That's how come most of the great artists, when they get to their rooms, they have these notepads and a pen by their desk, because big ideas come at dawn, 3 a.m. Around those time, between 2:30 and 3 a.m. thereabouts. You realize that the world is so quiet and you're able to think through to see the happenings, and then you realize that the idea can come. And then it may not be a clear idea, but you can note it down, so that when it's daybreak, that is when, and you have ample time, you can look at it and see what you wrote, so that you can work on it. Most of these are people who come out with these great songs, etc. When you interview them, they'll tell you that these are the times that they have their ideas coming. So they note it down, and then maybe it's just a phrase that they get. So you get the phrase, you note it down, and then when you wake up, you are try to add on, and then it comes out so beautiful. You have these artists, those who draw. Normally they get their energies and their strength at that time too. So watch yourself and see how best those works. Okay, let's go. So we are told here that as someone who is entrepreneur, you have to make sure that all the time you keep practicing what you know how to do best. There are some people who have come out to tell us about what they did and how they got there. But for some of us, we want to be sure that the path that you are showing us is true. Do you get it? Some people may over-exaggerate. But as you, what do you stand for? What idea do you have? How would you plan it? That's how come at any point in time, if you want to be an entrepreneur and then you want to come out to also inspire people, you note at every stage that the right things that you, all the right steps that you took that got you there. There were instances that you had there was a risk you took that didn't work. Let that also come out. It shouldn't be that everything was good. It doesn't work like that. Let us know your hitches, so that when we also set out to do same, we can do and do it well. So there are also myths that surround entrepreneurship. We have people who are already, they tell us people who are entrepreneurs are born. There's nothing like anyone can do. It doesn't work like that. So we need to have, as an entrepreneur, there are certain, sayings and things that are there that has been, made so big that we shouldn't put our own trust in it. We have to make sure that a journey with 1,000 miles begins with a step. So these myths are something that we shouldn't put our hearts to. It says entrepreneurship is not reserved for startups, but we are told here that in the traditional view of startups, anyone who starts a business is called an entrepreneur. That's why I said, that's what we said. I asked about the traditional entrepreneur. The entrepreneur can create a business based on research to assess the validity of the idea or business model. So as entrepreneur, it's not only about that. You need to, step up ahead and try to understand what is behind what has been said, and then know how best to do it. Because in our local sense, we are told that, we don't do fishings on Tuesday. When you go to this do fishing on Tuesday, there's Mame Water or water god that will come and visit you. Much as there may be some level of minimal truth in it, there are instances where when you think through, you know that the people then had a reason. And the reason was that you don't need to fish. If it happens like that, all the fishes will die. So they wanted to give a day out there so that the fishes will rest and be able to multiply. That is it. You don't go to farms on this particular day, Friday, because when you go, you're going to meet this whatever. The reason was leave the earth to relax and then take care of itself. That is how it is. So as an entrepreneur, much as there are certain truths behind some of these myths that they have said, try to be a modern entrepreneur by understanding the validity behind those informations that they are coming up to do. Entrepreneurs do have a special set of personality. Everybody is an entrepreneur. You need to grow and build it. That is it. So mostly what happens is entrepreneurs try to challenge the status quo, meaning that they try to test to see whether whatever has been situated is what is supposed to be. That is it. They don't have any speciality, but the traits are there. You need to make sure that you work at it. And then whatever idea that you have to, you also have to work at it so that you can start to amongst the people that are already there. That makes you an entrepreneur. It's not that we have certain special people that can only be entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship can be taught. It's a method that requires practice. Yes, just as we are doing here. We are teaching you and guiding you as to how to be more entrepreneurial. If you're entrepreneurs already, fine. But if you are not, we are guiding you to know how you can follow those steps to become an entrepreneur yourself and not always to rely on the ideas that people come about with. Entrepreneurs are not extreme risk takers. Entrepreneurs take some level of risk because there are certain things you do, you may not know the outcome, but you work on it and make sure that you're able to get some feedback in terms of what you are doing. So they will tell you that we have people like stereotypes, they will try to do gamble and take some level of risk. But just as I said, everyone is an everyone can enterprises. They have the ideas that they are built on. Sorry, it was coming from me, right? I'm coming. I don't know whether it's my network. 1 minute. Let me check my system and see. 1 minute. Yes, so sorry. So it's about having the act. You have the idea, you put action into it, then you build it, and then you learn it, and then you build it. You can build it and then make sure you also learn around it to get it done. So you start from acting, learning, and then build it. Much as you have the idea, don't just keep the idea away. Work the idea and let it come out well. Then you show it, pilot it, and know whether the idea is feasible, whether it can serve a need within the society or for yourself. And then if it is, then you try to grow it. We say here that entrepreneurs collaborate more than they compete. At a point, yes, because there may be instances where you may have a competitor that may be working in line with what you are doing. It's not about always trying to outdo your competitor, but you can learn from each other. Maybe he has a product that he has worked and then gotten it to a point, but maybe that person, let's say in IT, let's use software and hardware. The person has a hardware, he has worked to some point and then he's left it. You are coming out with a software. You can come out with a software to even comprehend or work along in line with what the person is doing. So the two of you will be owners of that idea. It works. It is not only all the time that you outdo each other, no. But then there are certain things, it gets to a point that you need to be able to team up with a competitor and come up with an idea and work at it. I remember when we had this MTN, the Momo that came, the MTN Momo came. You realize that most of these telcos also came out to do similar things. The only thing is that some people have features that the other didn't have. It's the same idea. But then your ability to sustain yourself in the market, that one, they didn't share ideas. But then it may get to a point that maybe as an IT person, you are coming up with a certain product, or an idea has come that you are working in terms of networking, and then you need some person who is also doing something similar in an idea to also help you. It works, and then they collaborate a lot because they have conferences that they meet, they discuss in terms of what they do, etc. Try to network and then get things done rightly. That is it. So as entrepreneur, you just don't always have to hide in your small space and be working. There are instances when you have opportunities in terms of having conferences, etc. You have to partake and make sure that you're able to identify same people as you to be able to work well to get that result. Your ideas well situated. So they don't always compete. There are instances where they have to complement each other. I had a picture of this one that's showing them, the two of them, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates trying to discuss and then come up with an idea. Because there are times that when you have strong teams in the same field, they're able to come up with great ideas. They said entrepreneurs ask more than they plan. It's not true. Because before you set up, you have to know what you are coming to do. Although you may have an abstract, it may be an abstract thing, but then you have, plotted the lines already. Although a line may not conform to what is already there, then you have to rework and know what to do. That's how come I said that they can collaborate. So when you act or you do certain things and you get stuck, you should get people in your domain or within your space that can help you to build on it. I've said this one. Okay. Entrepreneurship is a life skill. Yeah, I need someone to read this one and then let's try to understand it. Yeah, I need a volunteer to read this last slide. There's something that I need us to do. Yes, any volunteer? Hello, hey. Today, how come the class is quiet like that? Hello.
Hello,
I'm not
madam.
fond of mentioning names, so I won't mention names. And I start with you.
Hello, can
We
I
start with
repeat?
you. Ernest.
Hello, can I repeat, madam? Hello, madam.
Yes. Also answer. Or who was that? Was it also answer? Who was about speaking?
Yes, madam. Can I read?
Yes, read for us.
Psalm
Read for us.
72.
Let me just mute and look for this thing. Read. We are listening, please. Read for
Psalm
us.
72 about entrepreneurship. 7. Entrepreneurship is a life. Hello? Hello, can you hear me, please?
Who is helping us to read, please? Hello.
Hello, madam.
Oh, please do. I was searching for something for the class. Yes,
Uh, please, your screen is not, I don't know, it's not staying consistent. It's like it has cropped to part of it, so I cannot see.
Oh, okay. I was just okay. Then wait, I'm coming. Oh, is it better now?
No, please. Okay, it's
Better
okay
now.
now. It's better now.
Is it better now? I'm trying to search up something on my PC for you. That's how come.
Okay, I think it's better now.
Okay, so you carry on and let me just search. But you can still see. Can you see?
Yes, yes, please.
Sorry.
Please scroll down a little for me.
I'm coming. This one, like this. I'm coming. Oh, it's going to thank you. Can you see now?
Yes, please. I can.
Do that for me and let me search. Continue reading.
Okay, so truth number 7: entrepreneurship is a life skill. Traditionally, entrepreneurship has been associated mostly with land new. These days, the meaning of it has transcended into something more than just the ability to use entrepreneurship as a life skill that's supposed to deal with an in future. Provide them with the methods to think, act, identify opportunities, approach problems in a specific way, adapt to new conditions, and take control of personal goals and ambitions. It also provides people with a set of skills that can be applied to many other fields. Being entrepreneur empowers us to create opportunities and reach our goals.
Okay. Are we done? Yes.
Yes, please.
I need one of us to explain to us how he or she understands it. The ladies have decided not to talk. Yes, please. Who would explain it to us? Hello. Hello.
Hello, madam.
Hey.
You are here.
Yes. Why are you all eating or you are sleeping? Oh. What is happening? I want my people to speak. Oh. How do you understand that, please? The assistant called Shep. Is she here? The one who called me. Call Shep. Is she online? Hello. Theodore. Theodore. If you've decided not to speak, I also keep quiet. Because I need us to discuss.
we
We are
are all
getting to
here.
the tail end. And I said, how do you understand this bit, the information here? That entrepreneurship is a life skill. I need one or two of you to tell us how they see it. And those who downloaded the slide from the page, they should understand it. So I'm surprised that everyone has decided to keep quiet. In 2 sentences, how do you understand this one?
Okay, madam.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's what it simply means is entrepreneurship I mean advanced to just being a normal setting up business, but also it has become a lifetime kind of thing that people normally venture into, not just being a business, but a lifestyle as well.
That's a bit that I wish you could help us to understand. You see, I've said a lot, but I need you to chip in with something small, and no one wants to speak. So just as I was saying from the onset, as every human being, we are creative. So it is just left with us to come up to be able to tell ourselves that we have the ideas and then we can work at it. So just as we are opening you to some of these truths and some of these ways that you can also become entrepreneurial, we need you also to be focused more, know who you are and what you can stand to do, because it's all about opportunity seeking. You should be able to seize opportunity and do certain things rightly and well. I was in one group and I mentioned that there were these young people who wanted, a place of work. There was this advert that they invited for, and they had 5 people who were invited for the interview, and then when they got to the premises, they sat them in a corridor which had a sink. There was a sink that had water dripping down the sink on the floor, on the tiles. And then there was a mop bucket, a mop, by it sitting somewhere also in the corridor close to the sink. And they sat them there. So this water was collecting. So they sat there for, I think, for more than an hour. And then the person was not forthcoming. Whoever was going to interview them, they had, all their documents on their lap, etc. And then after, I think, after an hour, or before even that hour when they were called in, one of them got up because the water was gradually getting close to where they were seated. Nobody cared because all their focus was that, they are coming for interview, young people, and then they will just get what they wanted and go. So one of them got up, picked the mop bucket and the brush, got to where the water was coming from, tried to mop the water, and then later push that mop bucket under the sink, and then place the mop stick by the tip of the mop bucket so that the water wouldn't on the mop wouldn't drip further. So that was it. So when this person did it, the next few minutes they were called that the boss was ready, wanted to see them. So everybody was trying to tag in to be sure that he had the best look. They got there and the man says he's done with the interview. So they were looking at each other. At what point were you, what time did he come? And then at least we have been here. No one has called anyone. Says yes, he was watching them from his screen. His whatever. How did he put it? The camera. And that he looked at the reactions, etc. They all sat, looked on. So it's like they are not employable. So they didn't possess employability skills. So when they got in there, all he said was the person who mobbed was the one that he could, leave his assets with, whatever, because he needed somebody who was trustworthy to work with. So he or she was someone that he can, trust, that if he he brings to the side and later leave the job or the work with the person, the person can really handle it. So these are the little things that we try to put across, that as persons, young or a little grown as we are, we have to make sure that we seize the opportunity to do things right. This was an opportunity for all of them to be able to work, but then they said no. So anytime that we find ourselves amidst any situation where people are seeing chaos, as an entrepreneur, you seize opportunity. You see, you can get to a place whereby there is a lot of chaos, etc. You don't know what to do. What can we do? How can we work around it? Then you can come up with an idea and then say, we can do it this way. Recently, I chanced on this small clip, social media clip, that had these young men who try to desilt gutters. They have a name for them. I don't know whether someone can remind me. Who has heard of them? They identify communities and then they try
The
to...
Bastard Boys.
You see, they identify the opportunity and then try to come with a solution to it. It's not all of us who can do that job, fine. But then they identify, and then eventually, I'm sure it has gotten them to places where they needed hitherto they wouldn't have gone. Yes, that is it. So these are some of the things that we are trying to say, that once you find yourself within a community, environment, etc., you can come up with an idea to solve a need, and in so doing, you can, come up getting stuff for yourself. It can be a personal thing that you are developing to solve a need, fine. Yes, you can do that. And then it can be some things, an idea that you can plan with your cohorts or your friends to be able to work with, and then it will project you up there. Now you are IT people. IT, there are so many things you can do with this IT that you are doing. Even when it comes to some of these social media stuff, I know you guys are there. Yes. So it depends on what you've come out to do. That is the point that you can bring on board. That's your idea mindset and your IT mindset, and then try to put it out there for people to see. Not only on playing on TikTok, you can go there, but there's so many forms of medias or social platforms that you can work around, and then you see that you get recognition. That is what we mean. Because if you sit in the comfort of your home and fold your arms, nobody can get to you. This is the world we find ourselves in now. I'll need us to try our hands on this one before we go, so that we discuss a small creativity tests. Because, Coach, what time is this class ending?
5
I have
o'clock.
Say again.
5 o'clock.
Oh, okay, fine. So you try this. Pick it. The link. I don't think it's the one. It's on the one that I put out there. So pick it. There are several of these online tests that are there. Let's try our hands on, and then we'll talk about it later. I'll be attending a conference. Gosh, if I relate to you the information, know whether next week what will happen. Either I'll have to record or do something. Yes, so that will be for it. So if you have any questions or contributions, let's bring it on board, and then we wrap up, please.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
Please, can you put the link in the chat?
Oh, it's not here. Okay, I should put it in the chat. Okay.
Yes.
Let me just do that. Let's see. I'm sure. When you go online, there are several versions of it, but do it once. And I wish you do the one that would give you the actual readings. But then that notwithstanding, you try it, but try it once. Don't do it twice, please. When you do it twice, it means it wouldn't give you a true picture. The questions that they ask you, you think of it and then you hit it, and that starts. Any addition, any contributions or questions again? Questions, contributions, and then hello. All right. So if there are no questions or contributions, let me end here. Whatever the situation, I'll relate the information to your course rep. But I'll put the model thing on the page for us. So please check. And I said, per the topics that you find, read on them and get more information. It will help us in this course. Thank you for coming, and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, madam. We will do that.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Right.